the Cinema Dash. As always, I'm Gabbs.
And I'm DeGe.
And the whole recording was didn't tell us when we were going to record, so this is just like a whole minute of a whole segment.
Sitting in silence.
I'm sitting in silence, like, oh, is it recording?
Are we going?
Is it a go? Are we a go? Are we got the green light?
But
yeah, we do. And unfortunately, I have to hear this.
Anyway.
Yes.
So we saw a movie.
And I'm going to say this, because we do in every video. Why else would we be talking if we're not talking about a movie?
And there you have it.
About movies.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We saw Moonlight, like we said we would. And
yes, fulfilling our what we set out to do.
Our quota. Until the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we still got Rogue One next week, but
and that's gonna be. That'll probably be it'll probably be the last movie we see until after Monday, probably.
I was hoping we could also see Hell or High Water. Because I found
if it's
I found a version.
If we can see it after Monday, I'm totally down.
Okay.
So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because Monday I'm doing my last finals and I'm gonna be home. So yeah.
Okay. But so we saw Moonlight, and pretty much what this flick is about. Moonlight is about.
The easiest way I can describe it is if it were Black Boyhood, with a little sprinkle of Brokeback Mountain in there.
Sure. Pretty much what it's about. It's about this kid named Sharon, who it's pretty much his life told in 3 acts and at 3 different ages, and how he grows up being a gay African-American boy living in Florida, where apparently they don't really tolerate gay people in Miami. So
I guess not.
So that's pretty much what this movie's about, without giving too much away. I really wanted to see this movie, actually, because literally every person that's ever seen this movie ever apparently said it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
So it's got like a 99 on Metacritic. It's got like a 9.5 on IMDb. It's got like 100 on Rotten Tomatoes. So like everybody's thinking. So apparently it's like the most critically acclaimed movie of the year.
I saw 8.7 on IMDb. I'll have you know.
All right. Well, you can go fuck yourself.
Same. But I saw a lot of people on Twitter be like, "Yeah, this is like a really good movie. You should all see it, regardless of whether or not you want to see it."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I'm sold. I was kind of sold on it already because it had a cool poster.
That it did.
And so we went to go see this.
And I actually want to talk about what that poster means.
I mean,
after while we talk about our review.
If you take a closer look at the poster, you realize that it's like 3 segments.
Well, not just that. There's some other things I want to discuss. But anyway, so super looking forward to seeing this movie, and I'm very, 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 very.
I think we're both
very glad that I did see this movie.
We both agree that we both enjoyed this movie. This movie.
All right. So like,
yet another real movie we just saw.
There's like, all right,
it's just too real.
Yeah. There's like, what's with all the M movies? Like movies that start with M, like Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight. And I was gonna say Edge of 17, and then I was like, wait,
Medge of 17.
I can't. Yeah, Medge of 17.
Medge.
But like, there are a lot of M movies this year, just like hitting it real, like hitting it close to home, making it real. But so like, there's like one movie every couple of years that like, it's terrific, but like, it's on an entirely like new plateau of just how good it is. Like, fortunately, last year I experienced that with Mad Max Fury Road, and this year I'm experiencing with Moonlight, because like when I got home, my dad was like, "Hey, how was the movie?" And I was like, honestly, like I don't know, like it kind of left me speechless, and like this movie's on like an entirely new plateau of like just like regular movies. And then you have like this movie is just like a step above them, I think, in my opinion, at least. Like, I don't know, man. This movie is like, it has like such a simple and kind of conventional like plot, but the way it unfolds and just the way everything comes together when watching this movie, just it's nothing short of a masterpiece. I mean,
it's really good. I wouldn't consider it a masterpiece. Just because, like, I wouldn't consider it.
Why'd you give it that much stank?
I mean, I wouldn't consider it a masterpiece. I would consider it. I would consider it a very, very good movie. That will probably be up for a lot of Oscars, and hopefully they can win some of them. Like I think Fury Road. Comparing this to Fury Road, like Fury Road's a masterpiece. Like you can't get any better.
Oh,
than
Fury Road's a perfect movie.
Yeah,
like hands down. But
is this perfect? Is this perfect though? In my opinion, not really. And like that's kind of like, and that, like that's why I'm giving it the score I'm giving it, and you're giving it the score and you're giving it. No, but I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It was very good. Obviously, probably one of the best movies of the year, if not the best movie of the year.
Oh, hands down. Well, it's not the best movie for me, but it's up there.
It's not my
it's on my list.
It's not my favorite movie of the year either, but it's definitely up there. But it's probably gonna be some people's favorite movies of this year.
Oh, absolutely. So, just to start off with the positives is just like I don't have a single flaw with this movie. I honestly, really? I really don't. I don't have a single flaw with this movie.
So this is this is a perfect score. If that's the case. Because because like Mad Max Fury Road, we gave 10s.
We gave 10s, yeah.
Yeah, which means there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, but we also gave Deadpool 10s, but we ended up revising our score.
Yeah, but I mean, like Deadpool was just kind of like in that moment, I think.
Yeah, it was
kind of caught up. I mean, I still haven't seen Deadpool since we saw it.
Really?
I haven't seen it.
It's on HBO. Check.
I mean, I don't have HBO.
Oh, never mind then.
So,
but
I have Netflix.
Just to start off, I guess if we're gonna be talking about the positives,
I got a coupon for Hulu for 45 days.
Do you really?
Yeah, if you buy anything from Radio Shack, they give you like a 45-day.
Wow, really? They're desperate.
Hulu for free, yeah.
Jeez. But just to start off, this movie's like, the acting in this movie is just, it's just nothing short of perfection, honestly. I think the performances in Manchester by the Sea were a little bit better, but and those were perfect performances as well. But this is like, if like Manchester by the Sea is at like a 10 in performance, this is at like a 9.9999 repeating for me, because like there's not a single bad performance in this movie. Every single actor that played Sharon in this movie is flawless. Naomi Harris is flawless. Mahershala Ali is flawless. He's actually quickly becoming one of my favorite actors, like working today.
Well, because he was also the guy. He was in Luke Cage.
Between this, Luke Cage, The Place Beyond the Pines, and his stint on House of Cards, I think he's honestly becoming probably one of my favorite actors today, and probably my favorite African American actor. Because he's done no wrong, honestly, and I could totally see an Oscar down the line for him, 100%, or at least a Golden Globe or an Emmy or something. Just award this man things. But
is a Golden Globe as good as an Oscar?
No, not by any means. Golden Globe is kind of like it's like the party kind of thing. It's kind of like the party awards show, and the Oscars is like the prestigious one. Not to say Golden Globes are prestigious or anything. Like obviously they're prestigious, but like the Academy Award is like the high art kind of thing. It's like the pretentious, like all done up gala type thing. You know what I mean? And whereas the Golden Globes is kind of just like, hey, it's kind of like more casual. It's very much laid back, and there's TV there. So it's really what kind of
is. It the Oscars for TV?
Yeah. No, I think that would be the Emmys, actually. The Emmys for TV. But
I always liked watching the Golden Globes.
Yeah, the Golden Globes is great. They got a lot of good jokes, you know.
Who's hosting this year?
I don't know. All I know is Jimmy Kimmel's hosting the Oscars. So
how do you feel about that?
I don't really care, honestly. Chris Rock was great.
Well, that's because
it's gonna take a lot to top him.
Well, I mean, like, because like during the Oscars last year, that whole thing happened.
Yeah.
Oscars
the Oscars So White thing, and having him as a black host is perfect. Exactly.
And I'm like, you really should have thought this one through.
But yeah, back to the review.
Yes.
Sorry.
The movie that we're talking about. Yes.
So like,
you think there's nothing wrong?
There's like, the performances are flawless, like straight up. I was like laying in my bed last night thinking about this movie, and like it kept me up for a little bit because I was just thinking about it and just like how everything unfolded and just like how everything just came together and kind of just presented itself on screen and stuff like that. And this is like one of the most unique and original movies I think I've ever seen, and just the way that it tells its story.
Is it one of your favorites now?
It's not one of my favorite movies, I don't think. I think I'll have to give it a couple more rewatches for that. Arrival actually is kind of getting up there. Might break my top 20. Because
really,
honestly, I told you, Arrival's gonna be my movie of the year. So spoiler alert for our top whatever list. Arrival's number 1, but whatever.
I gotta relook at my movies of the year because like I don't really. I think honestly, I think like I'm not gonna say it, but like the one that's kind of like that happened recently that I really liked. It's probably gonna be my number 1. I off the top of my head at least. So I'm gonna look back at what we watched and everything, but whatever.
Okay.
That's a whole video for another day.
Yeah. Anyway,
But
so yeah, I was just laying in bed at night and I was just thinking about it, and there's just so many unique things about this film that really just kind of like transcend everything about like it's like telling a story throughout the years of a same person. Because like Boyhood was unique because of the way it was shot and how it was filmed over 12 years. And in this, like, they just kind of like take like a very surreal tone to it, like kind of Lynchian at points. And it was just incredible. But what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say like because you think this is a perfect movie.
I don't think it's a perfect movie. I'm just saying that I think it's one of the best movies of the year and possibly of the decade.
So, with that being the case, why don't because I probably have more complaints about it than you do. Probably, definitely.
Yeah, probably.
Why don't I
have one small nitpick and that's it.
Why don't I tell you what I think is wrong with this movie, and then you go ahead and tell me why that works.
Okay.
Okay. So
elaborate.
One reason why one thing that like, I didn't like about this movie was its pacing. Like at first, like the first, like here's the thing, this movie's divided into 3 parts, like you said.
Yeah, 3 acts.
Little, then there's Chiron, and then there's Black. Little and Chiron, I think, are both excellent. I liked Chiron more than Little, by a little bit more. And then Black got really, really slow at times. Especially the scene in the diner, which I liked, and how it's slow, but it's like it didn't like fit everything though.
I was reading a bunch of reviews about Moonlight, and they are exactly what you're saying, that like Chiron and Little were like excellent, 10 out of 10, and then Black, which is also excellent, but it was just a little below the rest of the acts and how it all culminated into what his character is at this point. But I don't really have a retort to that. I kind of agree with you that that Black was a little bit of was the lesser of the 3 acts, but still phenomenal. So what else did you have that you complained about? You said the pacing.
Well, I mean that's kind of like the thing, because like it wasn't like yeah, there's like pacing issues. I thought like in the very beginning, I thought it was like, okay, this is gonna be like a very artsy movie where like the whole thing's gonna be like taking place, like they're gonna be swimming, and like the whole like they're gonna be swimming the entire time, like that's gonna be like a big thing in the movie, which turned out to be because whatever. So like in the first part, I'm like, okay, I can see like this has pacing issues, especially with him not speaking or anything a majority of the time. Like when him and the guy you mentioned before, who's gonna win who wants to win everything.
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, I'll call him Ali for short, because I probably not gonna.
Well, his character name is Juan.
All right, Juan. That's even better.
Juan.
That's even easier.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, when he meets Juan, it's kind of slow. Like it's just him doing all the talking, and like when they're getting like in the restaurant and like he's eating, and he's just trying to get Little to talk. Not really doing much. So I'm like, all right, let's get this going. Then they bring in Janelle Monáe, which I didn't realize until after the movie. Who's banging, by the way,
dude.
She's popping.
Whoa, hey, how you doing, Janelle Monáe?
She's popping.
I like her hair always threw me off. That's why, like, cause she always have like the short, really spiked hair or whatever.
One thing about like what I like about her is the fact that any way she makes her hair, it works.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I like her so much. But other than that, no, the first action, I don't think she was that good. I felt like she was just kind of like literally reading off the script too. But after that, like the second the second act she was very good in, and then like she didn't show up at all in the third for whatever reason, even though she is mentioned multiple times. I would really like to see her then as well. Also, Juan's not there in the second act, and they just mentioned that at the funeral, so I'm assuming he got killed somehow. I mean, we don't know whether or not, we don't know what happened. I would like to know what happened to Juan. We did not figure that out.
All right. In regards to pacing,
I kind of got away with pacing there.
I think that like, well, yeah, it was deliberately slow paced. I think, but like,
it kind of worked. But like, you know, sometimes it was like let's like because like the thing was just like because you get like that was like very slow, and then the act Chiron, where he's a teenager, that was pretty quick. Like the whole like the fight sequence at school. Then you got him coming back with the chair in the next scene. And you got him fighting with his mom. And you got the whole like thing on the beach later on in that one. Or before, like between all of that. Like I was like boom, 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 like that happened and that happened and that happened. And I like that. And Black were like two, like were definitely the slowest of the two. Black being a lot slower than Little. But yeah, I just felt like the pacing was kind of everywhere with it.
I mean,
it was still off in everywhere.
Is that because it's slowly showing how Sharon opens up to Juan and Teresa, and kind of boring, I would say. Like not that the movie was boring, but like Sharon is experiencing like boredom when in this time frame and stuff like that, and he just kind of wants it all to pass by. And then in the second act, where it becomes a little bit faster paced, it makes sense because like he's getting bullied and stuff like that, and to really convey that with such a slow pace doesn't really work. You know what I mean? Because like by having the faster pace means more intensity and more physicality. I can't speak. Whatever. More visceral moments. And then in the third act, the pacing was slow. I feel because it's just two people who were once friends are trying to reconnect. And by having that be fast-paced, I feel like would kind of defeat the purpose, because there's
yeah, but like compared to everything else, I think it was definitely slower.
Yeah, but like
like some parts I could have gotten a lot faster. Like it could have picked up a little bit more. Naomi Harris, and what I would only assume is the rehab.
Yeah, it was the rehab center.
That could have been a lot quicker, I thought.
See, like I don't think it could have, because like. The whole thing about the third act is reconnection. That's really the main theme of the third act, is just reconnection. And to be able to tell and to have that in such like a fast pace would really kind of defeat the purpose of the reconnection.
Well, I mean, they're kind of arguing at that point, so like I kind of want like the conversation to go a little bit faster. Then it kind of like broke down like them both crying, and I like that. But if it got a little bit faster and then kind of like cooled off, I thought that would have been a little bit better.
I mean, I see where you're coming from. It's just I feel
also just like how it started as well. It also kind of started a little bit quick. Cause like, all right, he wakes up, he did whatever, and then he's like, he's also dealing drugs, and like he's counting the money and playing with and like joking around with this guy, who's like one of his I guess one of the people that works for him, that sells for him. And then he goes back to bed. He gets calls from his mom. Then he picks up the phone, and all of a sudden it's the guy. It's Kevin. And then they have the conversation. It's very awkward. That worked how slow it was, because it's the first time. I mean, it worked when it worked, but when it was slower, it didn't work. When it was like, I'm guessing like in some lights it worked, and in some lights it didn't work. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it was very on and off for me. Like in that, like with the conversation on the phone, that worked. The conversation in the diner, it worked. I don't think it. I mean, like, I wasn't really feeling it when they were talking, like with how slow it was with in the rehab center. Especially starting off, like I said, with him like joking around with the guy that sells for him, and then kind of like dropping off and like, okay, the dancing get really, really slow, and it's probably gonna be for the rest of the movie as well. Like none of this is gonna pick up or anything.
I don't know, man. Just in regards to the pacing, it's just the entire third act is about reconnection, and I feel that just to have that sped up would kind of defeat the purpose of it.
I'm just saying, like even like I'm just saying like it was good, but some of it didn't work for me.
All right.
Wasn't feeling it.
What other complaints do you have?
Pacing was one. Pacing was really my biggest thing, because like I said, it worked and sometimes it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
What else did I like? Fuck, I really don't know. This is a good movie.
So is that your only problem?
I feel like I thought about so many other things I didn't like about this movie. Like, yeah, I like the one other things I mentioned was like, I feel like I don't know why we didn't see Teresa in the third act, even if she were to serve a purpose or not.
She didn't need to be in the third act. That's the thing, because the third act.
Because like she was more of a mother, like the role, like the mother in the movie than Naomi Harris, even though she was a biological mom.
That's the thing about the third act that's the thing about the third act is that the third act focuses on reconnection, and obviously him and Teresa kept in touch throughout the whole thing, so they didn't need to reconnect. He was only reconnecting with his mother and Kevin, so it would kind of defeat the purpose for her to be in there when she's not reconnecting, when they don't need to reconnect because they've already kept in touch so much. And plus, he says he already saw her.
Yeah, I would still like to see her. Like even if it was like a whole reconnection thing, I'd still like to see, you know, her giving whatever guidance she's giving to Chiron at that point in time. I would like to see what happened to Juan, because like they kind of just drop him off after the first act.
Yeah,
he died. How exactly what happened?
Yeah, I agree that they should have clarified a little bit more what happened to Juan.
They also kind of built him up to be this big character, and he ended up doing that. But like, for being only in for the first third of the movie, I don't think that really worked in its favor. Because like I said, like in the beginning of in the act Chiron, they just say that he's dead. How exactly? I don't know. What happened? I don't know either.
I don't know. While I didn't like that Juan was not in the second and third acts. I feel like that was a deliberate choice though, because of what transpired in the next two acts. Because when you think about it, Chiron had in the first act, it kind of just progressively makes Chiron lose his way. Because when you see in the second act, he doesn't really have anybody to confide into besides Teresa. And Teresa is not going to be able to give him the same advice that Juan was going to be able to give him, which is why in the third act, he becomes a drug dealer. Because Juan was trying to steer him off that path, but since he wasn't there, he went on that path. So while I didn't like that, they didn't waste him. It's just that he didn't get as much screen time as I was expecting. I feel like it served a narrative purpose, in a sense, to where the second and third acts were all affected by the first act. And what eventually transpired there. So that's just my take on it. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I gathered from it while thinking about it. What else didn't you like? Is that it really?
Pacing, people being left out. I kind of wanted to see more. I mean, also just like the whole the segment Black and not being the strongest one, kind of brings it down for me. But overall, I think just those couple things that are really what I didn't like about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I do really like this movie. Just like those are the things that got me.
Mm-hmm.
That
I got you.
So now.
What I wanted to say that I really liked about this movie was I already mentioned how phenomenal the performances are. Two things that really stood out to me that really solidify this movie as a kind of like a modern masterpiece is the cinematography and the.
What else would you point out?
No, but like actually this time, like not sarcastic, like not ironically or anything, like genuinely, the cinematography and the soundtrack, especially with the use of especially the use of its orchestral soundtrack, but also the use of popular music as well. The cinematography is just like it's very surreal, it's very visceral, it's very in your face, it's very punchy, I would say, and like there's really no other way they could have shot this movie in which the themes of the movie are so very well conveyed through like the visual narrative of this movie, because a lot of things happen visually in this movie that really can't be said with dialogue, I think. Especially when a prime example of this would be when in the second act, Chiron, when the bullies are like circling him, and there's that very, very long 360 shot of the bully circling around and like bringing everybody together, and it kind of just felt very visceral. It felt very wobbly. It made me kind of sick to my stomach because it's really seen through the eyes of Chiron in that point, because it's kind of a POV shot, and it just shows that the screen gets a little woozy. It starts to get blurred, and it shows that Chiron is feeling extremely uneasy about the situation because he's gonna get the shit kicked out of him by his what we thought was his best friend at that point, and that he's being surrounded by everybody and nobody's gonna help him. And another example of this would be probably my favorite scene in the movie, when Chiron breaks a chair over the back of the bully. Not that scene in particular, but the scene leading up to it, when Chiron is just literally, this is how like genius the director and the director of photography are when it comes to this movie, because I was more enthralled by him walking to the fucking classroom than him actually breaking the chair over the bully's back. My heart was like beating. Yeah. My heart was pumping through my chest. There's no music. It's just him with this pissed off look on his face, just barging through doors, walking, and the director is and the director of photography is handhelding the shot, and he's just walking through doors and stuff, and Chiron is like punching through doors and stuff like that. It's all wobbly, it's intense, and the intensity that's just radiating off of the actor that plays Chiron is just incredible, and that's also due to his performance and whatnot. But then when he actually gets there, he slams his bag on the floor or on the table, and I know shit's about to go down. And he takes the chair and he just breaks it over the guy's back and then beats the shit out of him with the table legs. That was probably my favorite scene in the movie, because just because of the raw, just how raw it was, without any sound, without any friggin' music or anything, because that scene wouldn't have worked with music, in my opinion. It wouldn't have worked. It's just the natural, just raw brutality of it is really what made the scene so stand out, in my opinion.
It's kind of like, I was kind of like one of those parts where, like, the one thing I like about just any form of visual media whatsoever is that if it's edited, I like looking at the timeline of like the timelines of everything, because it's all like a big puzzle, and you gotta put it together. Yeah. Especially a movie. That's like a 1,000-word puzzle, a thousand piece, should I say? And that's kind of like one of the scenes I would like to see, because I feel like it's just that raw footage and that's it. Like it's all like big clouds of filters, maybe, and actual footage and audio and some graphics, maybe. And then you get down to that point, and it's just the audio and the footage, and then it gets back to the graphics and everything, and just like all the other stuff that they throw in there. I feel like it's just those two, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's what I liked about that.
I could totally see that. And like, oof, excuse me. And the score, was incredible. It really punctuated the tone of the movie throughout. And especially the use of songs throughout this movie. Like, the movie opens with, I'm not gonna say the title of the song because it has the N-word in it, but it's Every Blank is a Star. And that was also sampled off, that was used as a sample on Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly, which was my favorite album of last year. And it
was everyone's favorite album of last year. And how it didn't win anything was...
It won Best Rap Album at the Grammys.
But why didn't it win more?
It should have won Album of the Year. Like, fuck Taylor Swift. Like, but whatever. That's a completely different argument.
That's a different channel for a different day.
Yeah. So, just it's just funny because both of those songs appear in the beginning of two mediums that really tackle the same themes and topics that are rampant in this world today, like how Moonlight deals with homosexuality and identity and being able to be comfortable with yourself, while Kendrick Lamar tackles also those things, but Black America in general, and just how somewhat oppressed they are, and just the amount of violence that's been occurring through these past couple of years with police brutality and all of the unnecessary shootings that have been happening in the whole Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah, it really didn't go that direction, though.
No, I'm just saying that, like, it's funny that both of these mediums of art open with the same sample that that, and they kind of tackle the same themes. And also when they played Classic Man by Jadena and the third act, but it was all chopped and screwed, like how in the 90s when they used to like deal codeine and shit like that, they were like, it would sound slower because codeine like slows you down and shit. It just sounded slower than like how the actual song sounds. Just like little details like that in the score, and just the orchestration really just caught my eye.
I like the use of colors in this movie.
Yeah,
too.
Color is a very important thing.
It's very
in
like
this movie.
they use it as like a narrative point in the movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because at one point, Juan mentioned something about the color blue, and that comes up again and again.
Yeah, and this movie's based off a play called Black Boys Glow Blue in the Moonlight.
That's what his Juan's grandmother told him. Because like blue is very prominent. Because like most of the time the film is in the day, so you see the blue sky. Sometimes in the high school, like the main color of the school was blue. In the one scene where they're in the high school, and him and Kevin are having a conversation, and Chiron and Kevin are having a conversation. When that scene ends, it's just Chiron in front of the lockers, and all the lockers are blue. So like every time you see blue, it kicks you back to that one thing, and I really like that.
And also, there's kind of like a blue shade.
Yeah.
A lot throughout the movie as well, like the color correction and stuff like that. It's predominantly blue. So the use of color in this movie, very important. I want to go back to the acting for a quick second because I glossed over something that I didn't mean to. Naomi Harris.
Yes.
In this movie.
She was very good.
I've only seen her in James Bond. I've only seen her in Skyfall and Spectre. Yeah. And I think she gives the best performance of her entire career in this movie, to be quite honest. Never before did I think that she had that acting capability because I've only seen her in James Bond. But she moved me to tears when it was in that the rehab center. Like, she just killed me. And really, there were a couple scenes in this movie that actually kind of brought me to tears as well. Like when the rehab center. I'm trying to think of what else. I don't know, for some reason I'm blanking. But there were just a couple scenes in this movie that really just kind of did it for me. But
she drives a lot of emotions out of you in this movie.
Oh, dude, she drains you. She drains you. Like, she straight up drains you dry.
Because like the first point, you're like for the majority of the first points of the movie, you're like, okay, you sympathize with her because like the son's like running off and you don't know why, so you kind of like sympathize with her. Then you realize, oh, she smokes.
Yeah, she's a fucking crack addict.
She's a crack addict. Like, okay, now you're pissed off at her.
Oh,
in the second scene, in the second act, you're mad at her because like she keeps like she's asking for Chiron for money even though he doesn't want to, and like
and stuff like that. But I remember
and then lastly you say like it brings you to tears because like, you know, she's in rehab now and she's kind of like she wants him back even though like she's done all this stuff to him.
Yeah, the one line that really stuck out to me was like, she was like, yeah, you don't have to love me, but I'll always love you. And I was like, oh. But the one that I just remembered another scene was when Chiron finds out that Juan deals drugs, and then he puts two and two together and realizes he's dealing to his mom inadvertently because the guy's on the street. And the last shot of the first act is just Juan just crying into his hands while Teresa comforts him and Chiron leaves. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like that's so fucked up. But like this movie pulls no punches when it comes to just the harsh reality of just living in Miami. And
another thing I just remembered,
what?
This movie's produced by Brad Pitt.
Is it?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, huh.
12 Years a Slave was also produced by him as well.
Yeah.
So I guess he's got something for
good African American movies.
Yeah.
or movies that feature a plethora of African American actors and actresses.
Yeah. And I don't know what else did I love about this movie.
Besides everything.
Yeah. Just the one very, very small nitpick that I have about this movie is that I feel like the transitions between scenes could have been like a little like less lazy. Because like literally all it is
I kind of like them.
It fades out and then it has like, the title to it's
light.
just like to Sharon and then it cuts back in.
Oh, there you go.
All right, hello. But
I liked it because he also had like the flashing lights and it's just like.
The flashing lights
going into the act Chiron, you see like the blue light and then the act black, you get the red light. I don't know. Was there a color for Little?
Not that I saw.
I think it was yellow, if I remember correctly. I think it was
all the primary colors.
I don't know if that does anything, but like I think it was yellow.
I think it reflected like the color of the act when you think about it, because like a blue flashed before Chiron and it was predominantly blue, and again since red was kind of filmed mostly at night, so it did have kind of like a red hue to it, or like an amber kind of hue to it.
Was red.
Yeah. So, oh god, dude, we're picking this movie apart, and there's layers. It's like an onion. There's layers.
Just like ogres have layers.
Yeah, ogres have layers.
I think wasn't Chiron's apartment like laced in like a red light, kind of like the light in his mom's room.
Yeah.
In the first act.
Yeah, that like neon red. Yeah.
It was more pink in his mom's room, but
she had that too.
I don't know about the yellow. I don't know. I'm not totally sure about the yellow.
I don't remember seeing that. I don't think there was one. But
I think we kind of covered pretty much everything we liked.
Yeah, honestly, I think
we also kind of forgot the one thing that caught us off, or caught you at least off guard.
Oh yeah, there's so pretty much like this movie is about like growing up in an area in which the thing you are is lambasted and kind of just like not accepted at all. So Chiron is gay in this movie, and
or just a very
there's one
gay.
Yeah, well, he kind of has to be. Mm-hmm. So there's one scene where him and his best friend go to the beach, smoke weed, and they kind of just like pour each other's hearts out to each other. And Chiron just like confesses like everything. He's like, I hate living where I am and shit like that, in a very like heartbreaking scene. And then he basically kind of comes out to Kevin, and they kiss. And then he kind of gives him like a casual handy in the
just a casual,
on the beach.
The bro job.
See, like
on the bro job on the beach.
See, like I wasn't like
you looked at me in the theater like, oh, what the fuck?
I wasn't expecting it because like I just wasn't expecting it, but like I wasn't uncomfortable by it or anything. I just wasn't expecting it. Like I didn't realize that was going to be happening because like, before in the movie he mentioned that he was banging some chick in the stairwell, and then he just comes out and kisses Chiron.
You'll see in his dream.
Yeah, in a dream that he was banging a chick too. But like, here's the thing, like,
what the fuck?
Oh, it's probably somebody just backing up, but whatever. See, I thought that scene was like just so well done because it wasn't portrayed in so you have like certain kinds of love scenes in movies where it's like you have like a James Bond one where it's like over the top and like there's like dissolves everywhere and there's like this stupid harp or like acoustic guitar music playing or whatever, and then you have like something like off the top of my head like Jessica Jones where you have like a very raw sex scene and stuff like that, no music, just two people banging on a bed or whatever. And then you have
a terrible TV show.
You're absolutely wrong about that, but let's continue.
Oh, fuck off.
That's a different show. That's a different time. But
that's a different channel for another day.
But then you have like the kind of in between where you have an extremely passionate love scene, undercut by some like very soft music or whatever. And in this one, it's just so real and in the moment, and it feels like it actually happened, kind of. Just like two dudes sitting on a beach, and then he gets a hand job and stuff. But it just feels like so real. And in the moment, and I'm repeating myself. Fuck.
In the moment.
In the moment.
In the moment.
But no, what I mean to say is that it's just extremely, extremely well done, and it's just so it's just captivating, really. And listen to me talk about a dude giving another dude a hand job instead of praising it so much. But yeah, like it's just so, it just felt passionate, and it just felt like I don't know. I guess I said all I needed to say.
Yeah.
I really liked the scene, and I thought it was extremely well done in conveying how these two guys were feeling for each other. And then they kind of just like play it off in the end as like nothing happened, where they just kind of like give each other a high five, and then they just walk away.
With that being said, I think we got everything.
Yeah. Moonlight, I highly recommend you see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's possibly going to be considered one of the best movies of the decade, or at least I hope it is, because it's certainly going to be in my list of movies that I'm never going to make that list. So if I were to do like top 50 movies of the decade, it'd probably be on there or something like that. But Moonlight, incredible movie. I really think if you're struggling with coming out of the closet, or if you're already out of the closet and want to see a movie that makes you remember, or really any gay person, I feel like should see this movie.
I think any person should see this movie.
Anybody who should see this movie. I want to reiterate that like I'm not homophobic or anything. So like if because like I realized that like while I was like saying that
gays.
No, because like I realized that while I was like talking about like the handjob scene, like I kind of feel like I could have came off as homophobic there, but I just want to reiterate that I'm not. Like I have a lot of really good friends that are gay, and like I have no problem with them, and they're really close to me. So I have no problem with that. You know, love is love and everything. I changed my profile picture to the gay pride flag when it was announced that Congress was legalizing gay marriage. So I'm all in for it, ladies and gentlemen. But if you're gay, bi, transgender, straight, whatever, LGBTQ, whatever you are, see this movie, because there are countless people that went through experiences like this. I could totally see, and you know, this movie will just it'll inspire. I feel it'll really inspire. So I would moon 9.5 out of 10 lights. Did I do it?
No.
Did I do it? Oh my god, I did it. I would moon 9.5 out of 10 lights.
Fuck off.
Yes.
That's terrible.
I got it. Shut up. I did it.
I would break 8 out of 10 chairs over the local school bully.
He just walks into Hill's, just, all right, who the fuck's the bully over here? And this guy's just like, oh, me. And you just take like one of the plastic chairs, just beat him over the fucking face with it.
I break 8 of them. I have a collection of 10. I break 8 of them.
You break 8 of them.
You're not even good for these.
Yeah. All of you could tell the story of what happened here today.
I would smoke 8 out of 10 cracks.
Go away. Just stop. Get off the channel, man.
I would go on the beach. I would swim. I would take a nice swim in the beach. 8 out of 10.
Swim in the beach? Yeah, you would swim on the sand?
Yeah. And then you go fuck yourself in the water.
But yeah, totally see this movie. It's a modern masterpiece, honestly. It'll be talked about for decades to come. It'll be analyzed by people. So, and I also wanted to mention, all right, so that concludes our Moonlight review, and I just want to make a couple announcements for the future of the channel and stuff like that.
Because every video we've been doing now.
I mean, like it's important. Just until the end of the year, we're just gonna keep making a couple of announcements, and then whenever we need to make announcements, we'll just do it in a certain video or something like that. We'll make like an update video or something. But be on the lookout for our X-Men series, which we are starting extremely soon. So that'll be very, very fun. We're gonna be doing one X-Men movie every week leading up until Logan, which we'll be seeing in theaters. Look out for our Rogue One review next week, so that'll be out. And also be on the lookout for our top insert number here list. I just want to talk about that list for a quick second before we end the episode. I'm not I don't know how you structured it, but how I structured my list was the movie that.
Hold on. I haven't even started my list yet.
Oh, okay.
Don't even get me started on that. I have so much.
Don't even get me started.
I barely have enough time to record this episode and then also see Star Wars on Friday. Are you kidding me?
But I just
have to do.
I just wanted to, I just wanted to say in regards to my list at least. I judge the movies. It's not about the. Well, it obviously is about the quality of the movie. What I'm saying is, I ranked my movies based on how much of based on a couple of different factors actually, like the quality of the movie, the emotional response it invoked from me, how much fun I had at the movie. Now, granted, I didn't have fun at Moonlight. Like, it's not a fun movie. It's a very serious art house drama. But like, I ranked my movies based on purely how much I enjoyed them. So like, Moonlight's not going to be at the top of my list. Like, Arrival is at the top of my list because that movie to me invoked the most emotional response. I had the best time while seeing it, and I feel that this is my personal opinion. So
it's like
obviously I'm gonna have movies that are like everybody in everybody's top 10.
It's like Pulp Fiction is a 10 out of 10. It's a perfect movie, Pulp Fiction. But does everyone like the movie? No. It's definitely like it's widely regarded as a 10 out of 10 movie.
No, absolutely. It hands down is.
But people just don't see it as a good movie to them, or they wouldn't put it in their top 10. I personally wouldn't put it in my top 10. My favorite movie of all time is Back to the Future. That's not a top 10 out of 10 movie, at least to me it is, but like whatever.
But an example is one of my favorite reviewers had Star Wars The Force Awakens as his number one movie because it was the most fun he had at the movie, and he felt that he enjoyed it so much that he put it as number one. And then he had Mad Max as his number two. Now, personally, I don't agree with that, but I can see, I respect his opinion, and I can see why he did that because he had the most fun at the movie, and he felt that it was his favorite movie of the year. So, there you go. That's how I'm structuring my list. So, don't get mad at me if your favorite movie is not my number one or my number 5 or my number 7 or whatever. So that's what I wanted to say about the list.
Yeah, I just don't give a shit whether or not you think it's a good movie.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to say about the list.
You also don't have to give a shit whether or not you like my decisions I made.
I mean,
but
whatever, dude.
But like, you know what, man?
It's all good.
But it's just like your opinion, man.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, be on the lookout for that video. Be on the lookout also for our Oscar video when those get announced.
That's coming up soon.
Yeah.
That's that is the 26th
of February.
Of February. That's the day after my birthday.
Yes, it is.
So there's that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it all, honestly.
So yeah. Thanks for watching this video. Remember to give it a like, a comment, a subscribe. Hell, even share it with your aunt on Facebook. I don't really care. Do what you want. So, for the Cinema Dash, I'm Gabbs.
And I'm DeGe.
And this is what our outro looks like.